So the bell curve illustrates how deviant your results are from normal. Okay, where 0 represents normal compared to the average person.
Right.
The further away you get from 0, the more abnormal the results are,
Right.
the more serious. When you look at neurofeedback training for Z-scores,
Right.
the idea is to reduce the abnormality and get closer to 0. Okay, so at first we would set it at a difficulty level of 5 Z-scores, for example, and every time your brain is producing within that number, within 5 Z-scores, so closer to 0, the brain gets a reward, all right, for conditioning purposes. Now, as your brain changes behavior, we'll make it harder by shrinking the Z-score range.
But
all
the
right?
reward is just the green light, right?
The reward is just the green light. Correct.
Hi guys, my name is Dr. Schultz, and although I'm the only brain technologist, I decided to choose for this topic a person whose name is Sophia, which means wisdom. Sophia, please tell us what Z-score is.
All right, so Z-scores are essentially a way to break down raw scores from many different types of data. So they're very advantageous in the fact that you can look at many different tests, many different collections of data, and kind of summarize it all with Z-scores. So it's essentially, the technical definition is the number of standard deviations away from the mean. Z-scores are computed between -3 and +3. The 0 right here means that a score is directly on the average of the data set. So the further away that you get from 0 on the Z-score chart, the further away you are from the average. If you have something between +1 and +3, you are higher than the average, and then -1, -3, you are lower than the average. So for example, let's say your class has a test. There's an exam in a class, and the class average is a 90.
So then it would be here.
Yes,
right?
so 0 would
On the
0
bell
equal
curve.
9 on the
Yeah.
bell curve.
Right.
A Z-score is also known as a normal distribution, and
Right.
so that's why you would put it into a bell curve. So you have a class average of 90. In order to compute your Z-score for a data collection set, you need to know the mean, which we know is 90, and then you need to know the standard deviation.
Right.
So essentially, let's make up a standard deviation of 2. We'll say
Right.
that. So what we would do is compute the raw score from the average. So someone gets an 85, so then we have 5. And we're then going to divide that by our standard deviation. So you would have a Z-score of plus 2.5,
Right.
which means that it is further away from the mean.
So what I would like to say is to explain how Z-score applies to what is done during neurobiofeedback training.
Okay,
So let's say that we want a particular part of the brain, let's say the frontal lobes of a person, to produce beta only. So beta only would be 100% in the middle of the bell curve, which is again a curve of normal distribution. But we cannot demand from a poor brain of this unfortunate person to be perfect right away, right? So we set the machine to provide us a Z-score of 3. And every time the brain produces anything close to the Z-score of 3, which is not perfectly 12 hertz and not perfectly 14, the green light is going to come on. Once a Z-score of 3 is met and the person is doing 90%, the technician will narrow the area to this area, right? So this way we can gradually train the brain using the Z-score to be perfect. That's what we need Z-scores for in neurobiofeedback.
And one of the really great things about using Z-scores in neurofeedback is that there is this set of data of approximately 600 adults and adolescents who have done neurofeedback.
Right.
And Z-scores are really great because as soon as you get it, you could really get it in live time during a neurofeedback session.
Right.
And you're able to automatically compare it to these hundreds of people that have already done the procedure. So it's a really great way to just quickly and easily get a very important number, very important analysis on how the patient is doing. And it's very convenient. It makes neurofeedback a really great option.
Fantastic, Sophia. It was very wise. And you guys, keep your brains open.